The Christmas season just passed has brought churches into focus. Television coverage of Christmas services from some of the world's most famous churches has been impressive. Dazzling stained glass artistry, the sometimes thundering sound of the pipe organ, and the old familiar carols and hymns. The church and church buildings have been a large part of the tapestry of New Brunswick history. The Irish Roman Catholic influence in St. John, the Acadian presence in Moncton, and the Anglican tradition in Fredericton. This is where John Medley became the first Anglican bishop of Fredericton back in the early 1800s. What became the Anglican Church of Canada was called the Church of England back in those days. And back in England, being a bishop meant you ministered in a cathedral in the city of which you were a bishop. Well, there was no cathedral in Fredericton, and Fredericton wasn't a city. Bishop John wasn't deterred. Evidently, he had some juice back in the old country. After pulling a few strings, he had Queen Victoria declare Fredericton a city, and John used his influence at the palace to get his hands on the plans for a cathedral in Snettersham, England. He used them to build Christ Church Cathedral, still a prominent part of the provincial capital. It's especially striking during the autumn season here in the city of Stately Elms. Upriver from Fredericton in the tiny community of Temperance Vale is St. Luke's Church, built along Gothic lines, with the project launched with a $100 gift to the congregation back in 1899. Here's $100, build a church. You can't do that anymore. This unique yellow and brown place of worship stands out in the rural countryside of this part of New Brunswick. Church tourism is good business for tourism in some parts of the United States, and it could be a good idea here with so many of those little white churches still dotting the countryside, some of them welcoming worshipers for countless years. The sad thing about these country churches is the fact that membership has declined over the years for most of them. Many of them are closing to amalgamate with larger congregations. Like our covered bridges, they may soon become a part of history. From christening to marriages to funerals, so many of these churches have been part of the total lives of so many of us. In between those events, not enough of us evidently have attended church regularly, and for those who have, church giving has been hard hit by the economy. Because of this and other factors, church buildings, some of them dating back over 100 years, are closing. A victim of the times we live in, someone says. That, and it seems a lack of interest, spiritual interest, both inside and outside many of these churches. I'm Ross Ingram, and that's how I see it.